In a previous video, I said one of the characters is a research assistant, and she needs to have a 60s era 16mm motion picture film camera. That camera needs to simultaneously shoot the scene while it's in the scene, and I can't afford actual 16mm film. That would just be way too expensive. So we need to take a modern camera and rehouse it into a prop body. And for that camera, we're gonna use everybody's favorite little pocket cam from 2013. Now, the reasons I chose the Pocket Cam are the same reasons everybody loves it. It's small enough for my needs to fit into the prop body. It has a Super 16 size sensor, which is perfect for the 16mm camera that we're creating. It's got that OG color science and that Fairlight sensor. And a big one is, since this is supposed to mimic a 16mm film camera, the OG Pocket Cam's compatibility with C-mount lenses makes it a perfect candidate. That way we can use contemporary glass from the 60s on the body, and it all comes full circle. Now you might be asking yourself, why did I choose the OG Pocket over the OG Micro? Surely the Micro would be easier to hide in a camera body, and well, you're right. I couldn't find one. Let's be real, I was in film school when the OG Pocket Cam came out, and I got one. It was my first camera that was capable of shooting log and had these beautiful images, and these images still hold up so well today. You don't need 4K, 1080p is perfectly fine. Finish your movie in 2K, but that's a rant for another time. So yeah, I've got a little bit of nostalgia for the OG Pocket Cam, and getting to work with it again is really nice. I had to sell my original Pocket Cam over COVID to pay rent. I was genuinely so broken about it. That little guy had been with me for a long time. My first design for this prop camera included completely disassembling the Pocket Cam. Okay. This feels so wrong to do. It's important to know I bought this Pocket Cam 4 parts. It said it had a broken screen. When I turned it on, it was just a line of dead pixels. Somebody had hit it against something, I'm sure. But it otherwise worked fine. And so I thought I lucked out. I thought I had a cheap Pocket Cam that still was fully functional with a little bit of, you know, a broken screen. But somewhere along the line of me deconstructing it, and I genuinely don't know what happened. I was so careful. I've done projects like this, not an insane amount, but often enough that I felt very comfortable doing this without fear of hurting anything. But it suddenly, A, wouldn't display anything on the screen, and B, would not display anything out through the HDMI port. Nothing. Not a goddamn thing. I have no idea if the sensor itself actually functions. I'm sure the sensor itself functions. I'm sure it's somewhere on the main board that something happened. Is it associated with the broken screen? Is it associated with the fact that this was a 4 parts? Did something get jostled when it got hit? Or did I really screw up? I don't know. I tried rolling back the firmware and then rolling it back forward. Blackmagic's camera utility sees it and is able to make updates on it, but it's just not showing any other signs of life. Editor Dana here. I was able to format an SD card and throw it in the camera and try to do a recording. And this is what it gave me. So no, she's dead. Feel really bad about it because it might have been my fault. It might also have been something that I'm thinking about. It might have been was I was using kind of a cheaper universal adapter, a voltage switch adapter, and these old New Mexico homes out here in the country, we've got a lot of power fluctuations, and I'm kind of wondering if there was just a fluctuation that wasn't stopped by that adapter or something. That's my running hypothesis. It could have also just been a camera on its way out, and I helped it along a little bit. Either way, I do feel kind of guilty, but if it was my mistake, I'm going to feel bad about that, but I'm going to learn from the situation. Either way, we're going to have to buy a new camera eventually, but there it goes. The redesigned camera, you don't have to disassemble anything, it just slips right in, which is what I should have done from the start. But I didn't know how I could hide it horizontally, and so I was trying to hide vertically. So I redesigned the entire camera from scratch using this plug and play method of just sliding the camera body into the housing. And I got started. My 3D printer finally showed up in the mail. If you don't remember, UPS lost my printer in the mail for a month. Also, thanks Mom and Dad for the 3D printer. I really appreciate it. Look, it was a birthday gift. Everybody say happy birthday. It's coming up. I'll be 32. I got it all set up and inexplicably named it Carl. Now, anybody who knows 3D printers knows that the Bamboo A1 is a good printer, but its little time-lapse camera is pretty terrible, so please enjoy some very terrible time lapses of 3D printing. Shit, it doesn't fit. I printed out a new front piece with a couple of changes, and we've also got what will be the film can. And that's the main body. You've got all your camera controls over here that will be covered up from view. You've got access to everything here. If you look too closely at this, nothing makes sense, but that's okay. It's supposed to be like a prototype, so it gets to look weird, it gets to look a little funky, and I think a lot of that funkiness kind of disappears when your film can is on top of it. Since my actor is going to be holding this on camera, I want a way to monitor this camera from afar without being tethered to them. So we're using an old Hollywood. Since this is just monitoring, I'm not pulling focus off of this. The actor is going to pull focus. I'm not really caring about latency, but I want to be able to see what they're shooting. And oh, that is not the right size. That didn't print out quite correctly, but there is enough space in here, which is the important part. Man, I thought I measured right. I guess not. So we've got the main camera body with, right now, just power and HDMI running from here. I do want to eventually have everything from ANC and its mic input will want to come out. My favorite thing about 3D printing, besides being able to make complex shapes that I wouldn't normally be able to make on my own, is that it's a 100% non-wasteful activity. The process produces absolutely zero plastic waste, and it's just, well, it's a better all-around, we're going to try wood filler. I'm gonna stop us right here. It turned out so bad. My wood filler might be old, but it was really hard to work with, and honestly, I'm really embarrassed to show you any of that. So we're just gonna move on to the second attempt and reprint everything. This time I was playing around with fuzzy skin to see if I liked that texture for this, and I ultimately ended up using that for the final parts.
Here we go again.
I didn't really sand any of the layer lines. I didn't want to deal with that. And with the fuzzy skin, that would make things a little tricky, so I ended up using your standard auto primer filler, and I just wanted to see what it would do. It actually ended up pretty okay. I did 2 coats of it, and so I just went ahead and started painting away. So here's what it looks like right now. Obviously, it's all one green flat color. It still looks a little plasticky up close. I don't think the plastic is going to be too much of a concern, seeing as the majority of the movie, when this is in frame, it's going to be from a distance, which we'll talk about more in the pitch video. But so I'm not too concerned about, like, I'm not trying to get all the layer lines out. I'm not trying to get it absolutely perfect, because I don't think it really matters. And I would rather spend the time finishing this and working on other things than sanding, to be perfectly frank. So from a distance, I think it's going to look fine, but we want to add some details. We need to break up this green. We need to add metallic detail, some weathering, and just little bits and bobs of physical detail being added, little labels, little, all the things that bring a prop to life. We're going to repaint this again. I was originally trying to go for something kind of like this kind of greenish brown. I could not find that, so I thought maybe more military, since that kind of fits the story I'm going for. The more I look at this and the more I think about it, I think I need it to be kind of a textured black. Something like this. So we're going to repaint, try to match this, and try to match some of the other contemporary 16mm cameras of the time. Things like the Reflex 16S, the Bolex, and things of that nature. I think we're going to go with black. So I guess I'm back to painting. It was always going to be painting. It was always going to be more painting. Is prop making just painting? Don't take this out of context. And finally, we have... Wait, that's too shiny. That's way too shiny. This camera is not 100% finished. I still want to weather it, do some dry brushing, do that kind of thing to help it feel more lived with. For now, I'm calling this good. This will exist by my desk over the course of the next couple of months while I'm working on some other things, so that I can look at it, so that I can see it, so that I can kind of live with it and decide how to make it better. And then I'll do some final touches before we shoot the movie. But I'm pretty proud of this. Again, it's meant to kind of be a prototype, so this is not mimicking any real camera. It's kind of meant to be like a secret government project, so it doesn't need to look like anything specific. So the camera features a cavity for routable cables. I can hide the Hollyland video transmitter inside of the film spool, which is going to help out a whole bunch. Again, I'm not trying to pull focus off of that, so the latency I'm not worried about. I'm just wanting to monitor while my actor is using it. You can see the screen of the pocket cam from a viewport at the back of the camera. I do need to make or buy a little rubber eyepiece. I and the actor have access to all of the camera controls on the pocket cam itself, but they are hidden behind the actor's hand when the actual shooting occurs. Honestly, this turned out better than I thought, and I'm really proud of it. I know it's not 100% perfect, and there's lots of improvements that can be made iteratively as we move forward. But at this stage where we are in pre-production, I think this does a lot to help keep me excited for this project. And well, I kind of need that right now because unfortunately, we didn't get the grant. And that's okay. I've got a plan. We'll move forward anyway. The winner of that grant has not been announced yet. I just know I didn't make the finalist list, which of course I'm bummed about. I'm pretty bummed about. I thought I had a really strong application. I'm clearly up against some tough competition, and that's okay. That's how grants go. And we're going to make this movie anyway. I hope y'all have been enjoying this. I know not a lot of people are watching me right now, but if you're here, if you stuck around, I appreciate it. And we'll see you next time, huh? So I drew a lot of influence from a lot of different contemporary cameras of the time. For a lot of the detail work, I tried to pull from an Ariflex 16S, which I have tattooed on my arm. I've had that tattoo for like over 10 years. Ari, if you want to send me a camera, I keep trying that. I can't. Listen, I would love an Alexa Classic. Any digital Alexa or, film Alexa you want to send me, they're not going to. I've tried. I've sent them DMs. I've been a pest. They will not send me a camera to save my life. But I would actually really adore an Alexa Classic or, like an Amira or something. Obviously, I want the 16S for my collection too, but those are still so in use that it's hard to find one of those for a good price.